Rain, and freezing rain. That was actually really cool. In the winter, the ground and the air will be so cold it'll rain, and then the air around it will freeze the rain to everything it touches, and so like the trees will be caked in like a thin layer of ice. It was really pretty. I got bit by a dog, but that was about it. I was just kind of standing by a fence talking to a guy, and the neighbor's dog came and jumped its head over the fence and bit me on the side. Probably the most dangerous things that happened was driving in the rain. Like it would really really pour rain down there, and we had a long drive to do, and so like I've never hydroplaned before, but there's like a lot of that going on. I know that doesn't really sound very dangerous, but it was. It scared me at least. I was the driver, so it was cool. Really really heavy rain. It was fun. So definitely in the southern areas, like those small town areas, they would give like, oh, there's this dessert called banana pudding. It's really good. So I would suggest trying to get some of that because it's good. I would just say that the stuff that helped me most was the things that like everyone talks about that's helpful. Scripture reading. I had a really good pattern of scripture reading before my mission and prayer. And so when I went into the MTC, that wasn't an adjustment that I had to make. I already had that, and that helped out a lot. So, but that's something that's very, very commonly talked about. But I just, add my testimony that it works. So I never really had I've been asked this a lot, but it's just not exotic food in North Carolina. They have, here's one thing, they call pulled pork barbecue. So whenever they say we're gonna have barbecue, they're not like talking about hamburgers and hot dogs and grilled chicken. They're just talking about pulled pork. That's it. So if you ever go over for a barbecue, it's pulled pork sandwiches. But if they ever say grill, like we're going to have grill, then that's when they're actually talking about barbecue that most people talk about. So I think it's a good thing for people to know because I was disappointed on a couple occasions. Probably to be patient with people, mainly for my companions. Just taking a step back and just kind of taking a deep breath and being patient with them. What God really wants you to be, and the thing that makes you the best missionary you can be is when you're someone that can learn to love another person. And so just learning how to love people is probably the most, is what I learned that God really wants you to do. And I'm still not very good at that, but it's what makes you a good person, learning how to love other people. Don't bother to bring an umbrella. They tell you to. They say you can, but I never used mine. Oh, yeah, bring one if you want, but I never used mine. But it'll rain a lot and you'll just get wet, so deal with that. Bring a good coat, like a good coat that will block the rain. I think I packed too much clothes, honestly. You can get by with less. I would say probably the most helpful spiritual experiences that I had on my mission were, they just kind of came like that. They're mainly when I was walking or when I was biking, and it would just kind of come up out of the blue, and I would just receive a spiritual confirmation that I was in the right place. I was doing what I needed to be doing. It's generally on a really hard day when I was like, ugh, and we were just walking and walking and walking and walking, and just it would kind of come to me. It's like, hey, you're doing the right thing. You're where I want you to be. So that those came when I needed them, and they were really good. The hardest part, I would say, was not a specific experience. It was just, it's kind of like when you race. A mission's not really like a sprint where it's hard. It's like really really hard for a short amount of time. It's more like a long distance run where it's like that same amount of hardness for a long long time. So it's just like when you wake up after months and months of kind of the same hard day, just waking up and staying enthusiastic to go out and do the same thing again and not slacking up. And just go out there and talk to as many people as you can when that's really hard to do. So that's the hardest part.